There we go. Wait, I have a mouse in front of my face. There we go.
Yeah.
Right.
Welcome
Can
to
people actually hear
Dork
us?
Town.
Yeah, I'm hoping people can hear us and the background noises, everything. Do people want to show us a sign of life?
Show us a sign.
A postcard, anything.
Like literally just like drop us some kind of emote or a
Can you? Yeah.
Cheers, shuffling.
I was going to touch on this
comes
later,
to the rescue.
But during the fantastic / utterly terrible car stream yesterday, I think I was streaming for about half an hour with no audio, and eventually 28 group goes, "Oh, I just thought it was my internet," and everyone else is like, "Oh, I thought it was me as well." Where we were listening to banging tunes, and people were looking like dickheads. People just had a stream of us looking like dickheads, no banging tunes.
Yeah, well, I did try to tell you a couple of times, but no.
No, that was
ignoring us. Never listened to us.
That was painful. Anyway, hello, welcome to Virtual Goth Night unpacks what the fuck we did it to Resistance and tries to work out how we get back to having a normal life again. Become productive, return to being productive members of society for a given level of productiveness.
Yeah, like that.
You had the day off.
Yeah, I had today off, and I it started out really, really badly. I'm not gonna lie. I had butteries and ice cream for my breakfast, which is a really bad move, given that both of those things make me incredibly unwell. And I proceeded to spend the rest of the morning curled up on the sofa on a roller coaster of hypos and being unable to open my eyes. So that was great fun. And then a really nice lady came and gave me a massage, which sounds like the most upper class post-festival experience ever. And anyone who knows me personally will know that is not my life. But if you have access in some nefarious way to a post-festival massage, I cannot recommend it as an experience enough. It was the fucking tits.
So, but also apparently there were like mid-festival massages as well. I totally missed that. Some people were getting massages.
There was a whole thing in the corner. Getting the thumbs in.
Hazel, hello. I meant to say hello. I bumped into you briefly when I was going through to the main gig room, and then I meant to try and find you to say, no, I'm not in a rush, but it was great to meet you. How was your Tanz? People, if you're at Tanz, tell us how did you? You know, we're not just unpacking our experience.
Don't let this evening just be about us talking absolute shit about our experiences. We want to hear about your Tanz, your lack of Tanz.
Hey, Antibody.
Virtual Tanz. Hey, Antibody. Woo! Fucking A.
Yeah,
great to have you here, bro.
On our list of bands to talk about, no less.
Yes, exactly. You're on our list. We'll get to you in a minute. But yeah, tell us how your Tanz was. Drop it in chat. Give us a flail. Let us know how you're fucking feeling, because I think we're all dying of one way or another. Everyone's feeling a bit rough. We actually attended 2 festivals this weekend. We attended Resistanz and Resist-ANTS because our accommodation had an ant infestation. So we would go to Resistanz and unce our faces off and have a fucking great time, and then return home and try and avoid a large number of ants in our kitchen and living room and hallway, and at one point on me.
I found myself
it's been an eventful time.
Frozen, staring at the kitchen floor, waiting for the next little fucker to come out and work out where the hell they were coming from.
I did. I woke up on Sunday morning and I was a fucking shadow of my former self on Sunday morning. And there was just an arse in the kitchen. And I was like, what? I couldn't focus on what was going on. And I was like, am I hallucinating? What is this? And it was just Andy on all fours, Nero Cypher on all fours in the kitchen, trying to get as many of these ants as possible. So yeah, Resistanz and Resist-ANTS. It was a dual wielding weekend for us. Yeah, it's awesome to see you all with us here in virtual spirit. But yeah, fucking hell, what a weekend.
Hazel, I need to look this up because that wasn't a fake out. That's a track by X-Dies. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I think it's Industrial Combat.
Ah.
Yeah, it's called Industrial Combat by X-Dies. That's the Mortal Kombat fake out one. And if you have a strong stomach, the video is fucking hilarious. I don't see it anymore.
Sounds ominous.
Yeah. It's absolutely hilarious. It's a complete piss take of a whole bunch of really popular electro-industrial tracks all in one terrible video. Not as terrible as our normal standard of terrible, but yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, our kind of barometer of terrible is pretty on the wonk. So Fizz then, DJ Arricc. For those people who have joined us who don't know what the fuck we're talking about, and they're like, "What is this Tanz business?" What would you describe Resistanz as?
Oh, that is a very good question. We're looking like, well, a couple of sentences. Let's see. Hard-hitting electro-industrial festival somewhere in England. My English talk is shit, so I can't even say if it's North, Midlands, South, Penzance, no idea. A very long way away from me, with a whole bunch of people that were kind of cool, and some amazing bands. And apparently there's other things to do in Sheffield, but I didn't get around to any of them.
There was some genuine tourism happening at the weekend, like folk going to museums and stuff, and I was like, nah, it's just tunes and death, and that's all I've got. That's all I've got. There's only room for tunes and death. But yeah, it's kind of electronic, mostly industrial or industrial adjacent tunes.
Yeah. And Black Book.
And Black Book, yeah, who just kind of snuck in on the lineup, and I was pretty pleased about that, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so.
That was really.
That was good. Yeah, should we start speaking about some of the bands?
Yeah. So we had the misfortune, sadly, due to both of our travel commitments. This one, coming from Aberdeen, and just logistics of being a traveling cephalopod meant that I missed the first wedge of bands on the Friday, which I was gutted about, because when I was doing the research for my coffee shop to club night stream last Sunday, which was kind of my Tanz vibe stream, a load of the bands that I was really wanting to see were the first ones on the Friday. So Biomech Animal, Seraphim System, Pretty Addicted, Hardly Likes Music, I was really excited about, and Ranulph and Mortimer, missed them all. Yep. And it was all just because of travel times and logistics and stuff. Freaking devastated, particularly as Ranulph and Mortimer were apparently absolutely incredible as well.
I heard that. But by the time we got to the venue, it was just still in kind of like not quite built up to going to the other half of the venue, to go into the kind of main stage area. It was like, need to get a drink, need to chill out, and.
Well, you had just driven. How many miles did you? How many miles did you come?
So we went about halfway. Total travel time was about 8 hours, but we split it, so it wasn't.
So was it maybe
bad.
500 and then maybe 500 more?
Oh.
Sorry.
You needed to save that. You needed to save that joke until TheKynon pops up, if he was going to pop up in the stream. Gabby Cyber only just got there before 8 on Sunday. Yeah, so that was, I think it must have been about 7 or 8 we got there, but it wasn't quite up to just throwing myself straight into the bang it out. But Randolph and Mortimer have got a lot of big writers. They're on my CD. I got the CD, which is unusual for me. Yeah. Now I have to work out how to transfer this filthy media into something that I can actually play on a computer. Who has a CD drive? Hands up if you still have a CD drive.
I got one, but it's like I had to buy it separate purposely for digitizing my my old DJ bag, from back when DJing on CDs was a thing. And so, yeah, when I came to digitize a bunch of that, I had to get a disc drive so that I could do it all because I wasn't going to rebuy it all. Gabby Cyber, I love that you got there at 8 p.m. on Sunday night. Badass.
Oh, hang on. I never realised
sliding.
Gabby got there on Sunday night. I just read 8 p.m. and went, yep, Friday, yep.
Yeah, 8 p.m. Sunday night. Priorities. Where were you? What else were you doing?
That must have been taking in all of the tourist stuff that there is to do in Sheffield until then.
Yeah, were you at the Museum of Emergency Services, which is also in Sheffield? You were doing that the whole weekend, and that's it. Oh gosh. So yeah, last band on Friday.
Assemblage.
Did catch them.
Is assemblage? How do people tend to pronounce that? I don't know.
Do not ask me, as the legitimately rubber stamped dyslexic member of the team. Never ask me how to pronounce things. I've actually got a disclaimer on my Twitch channel, which is I will say your name wrong. I will pronounce things wrong. You'll get a nickname rather than me having to say your name because it's just not going to happen. So yeah. That is just a mash of letters as far as I'm concerned. LLGs. Oh, nice. Yes. So yeah, that is. Yeah, I'm not even going to try. I've heard it a million times, still can't say it.
What?
But they were good.
Oh, yes, them still. December 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the closer you get to any event, £250 for a hotel room, pretty harsh. Yeah.
Yeah. It was getting a bit boinkers with accommodation, Gabby, in Sheffield. There was friends of mine who were getting rooms last minute, and it was like 400 quid for like a what do you call it, easy hotel, like a room with no windows.
That should be
like, I don't want to spend £400 for a cell. Yeah, like I don't want to spend £400 on going to prison for the weekend.
Yeah.
Like if I want that experience, that's another thing. That's a different festival.
Yeah, so that was all we saw on Friday. Who did anyone in chat see Randolph and Mortimer? Can they back up what we've heard from other people?
Yeah. Any chat people?
Or any of the other bands on the Friday that we didn't see. Like I was really also disappointed we didn't see Biomechanical because I was very, very keen on seeing them. And then when I saw they were 3 o'clock, I was like, well, that is a very aspirational time for me.
It is. And I felt it was a real shame because it was kind of doing them a disservice because everyone that I had spoken to on the run up to the event was like, I really want to see them, but it isn't going to happen. And it was such a shame. But again, reports were it was a brilliant set. So just great way to open the festival. So that's really, really cool.
Okay, so
and Jilly, lovely Jilly was first on the DJs. And that is just like, for me, because Friday, let's not forget the main priority of Friday. Friday was bin day. Let's all talk about the most important subject of Friday. Friday was bin day. And if you saw me knocking about, I was the dickhead with the tiny bins on her head. Tiny, is it even in this room? I'm not sure it is actually. I'd made a tiny a fascinator out of wheelie bins because I'm that kind of dickhead who will do anything to make their friends laugh. Bin day was a great day. Jilly played an absolute blinding set, who is the queen of the bins. It was like, oh, the DJs are on, immediate dance floor filled. So that was amazing. And just great to catch her playing again. So that was really good. Yep. And caught a little bit of Lex's set as well. But sadly, again, the beans defeated me and I had to bail at that point. Mostly because I was trying to be strategic.
As well. Just for me, just with all the traveling and then do I have any selfies from Resistance? I have selfies with some people.
Yeah, which is such a shame because you kind of, and they're not great.
No, they're not. They're really terrible.
Yeah, like, Gabby, the selfies that I took are mostly the ones that are like this. Those are my selfies, which are it's a special skill that I have of taking them from like down here. Hey, Gordon, you all right?
When was that?
But yeah, it was Antibody. You caught Randolph and Mortimer, did you? There we go. That's a brilliant
That's as good as you
selfie,
get.
right? That wasn't technically a selfie though, was it, Fizz?
Oh, okay. No, John took that one actually. John had.
Yeah. Adam, hello. But yeah, so it was an early bail, but that is the difficulty of kind of the first day of festival is unless you're like a young whippersnapper, like I used to be in the olden days when I was an absolute wreckhead. Now, I kind of have to be strategic about how I spend my beans over the weekend, and it's like I can't go hard first day. In fact, I can't go hard at all anymore. But you know, first day is definitely a no. I need to save my beans to spend over the weekend.
Yeah.
Ah, right. Antibody. So you saw biomechanical. Oh, right. Okay.
Right.
Amazing. Oh, envy.
Yes,
Envy.
I need to work out how to try.
Of course.
We should maybe get like a hotel or something on the Thursday night next time. Get a team down and have a night. Maybe we could do do one unit of tourist on Friday morning.
A single unit of tourism.
Yeah.
Hey, transmission's in. How you doing?
Hey,
Sup?
hey, buddy.
Sorry, I should do that into the camera. Sup?
So, Gabby, that is not the most insane trip that I heard. I bumped into one couple from Seattle who had a 29-hour trip in one direction and then an equally insane trip the other way, and they were just across for the weekend. Yes.
That is commitment to sparkle motion.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Hey, Archive. See, this going back to the dyslexia thing, I'm really going to struggle with this. Archive full of YouTubers. Yes, howdy, how? Hi.
Got it. Nailed it. Yeah.
Nailed it. Bosh.
So who's
we'll
on your
shift you on.
Yeah, who's on your list on
Moving.
the little cheat sheet that you have on your lanyard for Saturday? Who are the bands on Saturday?
Shang. First band out the gate on Saturday. Blink 242.
Oh my god.
Oh fuck my life. Jesus and shit lord.
Oh my god.
Like,
what even was that?
What even? The fuck?
Yeah.
Seriously. I mean, we have to also mention that there are a bunch of babes as well, because we got to briefly talk to them very, very briefly in the street.
Totally.
And they were
that.
so freaking sweet and really humble, and they were just so hyped and excited to be doing the gig. And that is really lovely, but it was just so good. And like, it wasn't like it was funny but shit. It was funny but really, really good.
It was very well constructed bullshit.
Yeah.
Our favourite kind of bullshit around here.
Bullshit.
Yeah, because we were walking along the street down the side of the corp, and there was me, you, a few other folk, and I'm just like, hey, says guys, maybe you should say something. Don't say something, Fizz. Don't say something. You're just going to come across as a wanker. Don't say something. They're going to hate it when bands hate it when people just kind of mug them and say shit and don't say something. Then, hey, reload your set, man.
Which is funny you should mention that, because we've got Antibody in the chat, and I'll mention in a bit me doing that to him later on, because that was really fucking funny.
And that was my entire. Most of my weekend was like, hey, there's Area. I know I got introduced to Area on Friday night. I'm like chatting away, and it was great. And then later on the weekend, like there's Area. I've been introduced to her. Can I even just go and speak to her? I don't know how. I can't even people.
It's like, I think it's kind of it when you really enjoy music and music means a lot to you. It's kind of beyond like maybe like mainstream fanboy or fangirling, where it's like, I really like you because you're popular. It's like, I really like you because I respect you as an artist, and I'm really into what you create, and like you moved me, or that was boinkers, and I fucking loved how just dog shit mad that was. And it's a different kind of interaction that draws you to someone to want to say those things, but it just usually comes out as
and it's almost like it's like when you're at school and there's that person you like, and you're like looking down, shuffling your feet and trying to work out what to say that makes you not come across as a complete dork.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, but it's
So-
okay because we are dorks, and
So Blink,
we fully accept, we embrace, we lean into our dorkdom.
with
But
Blink,
yeah, so Blink 242 were the first ones out the gate on Saturday.
it took me a while
And,
for me to get them because so I believe they are actually it's like aha, it is us, Cypher died.
Yeah,
So the first couple of tracks that they did were their own covers, I believe, and so I'm not massively familiar with them, so I didn't recognize stuff. So I'm like, well, it's okay, and then they started on their American indie band cover stuff, and it's like, yes, no, these are my people.
yeah. these are my weirdos. We
Yes.
do like our weirdos. No, it was refined boinkers, and some of the breakdowns were just fucking ridiculous. Like I mean, about the whole kind of like being genuinely good at what they do. It meant that like legitimately, like technically, the music was really, really good. And there was one, I can't even remember which track it was because it all just merges into this immense fun. But there was one track where they actually had like legitimate filthy breaks, and my brain just went, "Wah!" Like, you know, when they see like people dreaming in MRI scanners and their brains just light up. That was me. Like, oh my god, they're speaking my language.
So what did they cover? There was All the Small Things, obviously Blink 182, American Idiot by Green Day. Can't
Avril
remember
Lavigne.
any. Oh yeah, Skater Boy. I
Yeah.
can't remember. They must have done a couple more, but they finished on Bad Touch with the Bloodhound Gang, which was outstanding.
Yeah, the whole setup, it was just, it was great. And like they'd thought out the show aspect of it and stuff with their silly signs and stuff, and there was a lot of like audience interaction and stuff, and yeah, it was just really and the fact was as well that, you know, they said this is going to be their only gig. I would genuinely be glad if it was their only gig. But it just got such a good response. I mean, they fucking filled that room for the first band on the Saturday when everyone's fucked.
It was like a couple of paragraphs of text, and everyone's like, "This looks a bit weird. We like weird."
Yeah, we do like it a bit strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it all worked out very well. So that was good. And then Mechanical Vein were on, and it was like someone just kind of changed gears. But it was like credibility, kind of a slight uptake in credibility. But that was really, really good. There was one of my friends who I was with. That was one of the other aspects of this event that I really, really enjoyed. Was I got to see a bunch of people who I haven't seen for ages, but also friends of mine who I go to see quite often, all in one place, and they're all smushy, lovely, gorgeous weirdos. But they've all got quite different things they like about music. Like some of them are really into like proper full-on noise. Some of them really like their EBM, like old EBM or newer, kind of gentler, bleepy stuff, like more future poppy stuff. And then there's like other folk who are more in their kind of like guitar-driven stuff. And then what happens is we all watch our lineup, and we all have different feels about what's been good and what hasn't worked for them or whatever. And I was sat for all these acts, I was sat in accessible areas for obvious reasons, because I need to have a little sit down, because I'm a borked person. And one of my friends who was joining me there, Mechanical Vein didn't gel for them. They could totally see that they were like super, super skilled, fucking incredible at what they do.
Yep.
But for their motivation of being at the festival, that didn't work for them. Whereas I was sat there with my fucking face melting like this is for me. And I think that's what's wonderful about having all these different people at a festival, is that you're all there for different experiences and for different kind of different vibes.
It was really it was a good year if you're into your hybrid black label, because obviously Mechanical Vein and Morris Black, just like, I mean, it's one of those odd ones. It feels more like a collection of mates that like the same kind of music than a full-on label, because they all end up the amount of tracks that they release are like mechanical beat, cross Morris Black, cross Black White mechanical, cross Grab Your Face, cross, just it's a whole bunch of folk that have very similar tastes and they collaborate on a lot of things. It's fantastic.
It is really good. It's just a bunch of kind of creative minds that have just come together and kind of gone, yes, filthy, crunchy.
Yes.
Crunch. Yeah, it's great. But yeah, that was a set that really sat really well for me. And I think because it had started on as I would describe wonk with Blink 242, delightful wonk, and anyone will know how much I embrace and adore the wonk. It needed to kind of shift back into Tanz gear, and that really did it for me. It was really good. And then I fucking missed Helix, which I'm really annoyed about.
I did take a little bit of a need to go and eat, find something proper to eat, then just use the fantastic catering because, well, it was nice. You can't, it was good to have some decent quality food right there, but the variety was limited.
Yeah, exactly. And that was basically what hit at that point, and that was a real shame because I think at that point I didn't have a lanyard, and so I wasn't in the know as to who was on at what point. And I fucking missed out on one of the bands I was looking forward to, and I'm kicking myself for it.
Because the next band I saw was Morris Black, so which means that I missed Helix, and it wasn't Cenotype, it was somebody else. I can't remember. It was a side project of Meme Maker. Mm-hmm. I can never work out like you how some of these bands are. If I see it in front of me,
it's not just
me.
What? I'm glad it's not just me.
I have some.
Speaking of which, have you seen? There's a reel doing the rounds of someone who's introducing bands on the radio as if they're from items from the Middle Isle of Aldi.
The Middle Isle of Aldi. It's fucking fantastic.
Fuck! It's so good. It's so good. Toad Abode.
I think I posted that in Discord, didn't I? Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did. Yeah, the Toad Abode. Oh my god, I need to start a band called Toad Abode. I need to. It's very important.
So if you hop on our Discord, you'll find it in. Wait for it. Yes, it's in the non-goth bullshit. Oh, some of the Toad Abode could be a goth.
Filed in the way that we file our bullshit on our Discord. Yes. Yeah, it's particularly good. But yeah, sorry, you were saying.
So yeah, food, and then I missed Helix, the Meme Maker. That's pronunciation I'm going to run with.
Okay.
Meme Maker, side project, which I can't remember the name of. I think it might be something like E.
Might be the other way around. Don't ask me. LLGS.
And of course, it's not going to be on your little thingy.
Nope.
No, because the plan was for Cenotype to come over, but I believe he got struck down by some kind of COVID-y type thing, is what I'd heard. So it didn't manage to make it, which was a shame because as a result of that, we also didn't get Her Noise's Violence for DJ set, which I was very much looking forward to. Because her stuff does get some good regular play on VGN. I missed Waste, which was I believe they had some logistics or health challenges as well, and ended up some kind of collaborative event.
So the band played, but there was a lineup change. And again, like from all accounts, that was an immense set as well. And I think we basically rocked up at the venue just as the doors were spilling out from that. But because our entire weekend's mission was to see Morris Black, it was like, come on, this has to happen. This is very important. It's a life's goal.
Oh, that's what happened in the middle of the day. I went to buy merch, and there was a very limited amount of merch for some of the more traveling artists. And I was at the merch table, and the guy next to me goes, "Oh, I believe you're next." I'm like, "No, after you. Haha, as long as that's not the last one." It was the last one. Of the Morris Black t-shirts. And I'm like, he's like, "It's okay, you have it." So Richard, you're a fucking legend, mate.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah. So I managed to get the one with the Morris Black t-shirt that I quite liked. Bought my cider and had some good chats.
Oh,
so yeah,
we do like nice people, don't we? They're the best. Yeah. They're the freaking best.
Yeah, so I'm gonna keep an eye out for him at future events and festivals. And probably get him another couple of beers over the years, and also a bit of chat. So
maybe buy him a t-shirt.
Yes.
Yeah. So Morris Black was like, I mean, it was a fucking immense set. Like, it was like full on heavy from the absolute get go. Like, hold on to your pants. It's just, this is happening, and you're gonna have to deal with it. And it was just amazing. And it I think, again, speaking of the creative collaborations that kind of only come of like nice friendships as well, which is nice. That stage just filled with guests.
Yeah.
Which was another, like, it was wholesome as fuck, but also badass as fuck. It was just brilliant. It was really, really good. So yeah, that was a really, really good set.
That really, just added to the whole thing. Was like clearly a bunch of mates on stage having a good time, vibing off the audience vibing off of them, and then the surprise ending on a cover of Blue Monday in the style of industrial bass.
Sweet beans.
Yes. So if that drops on any DJ pool, it will be getting shoved straight on.
Yeah, that was another one of the great things about the whole weekend was there was loads of new music getting dropped in each of the sets, and it was like I need to get my hands on this. This is very important. People need to be told, and the only way I can do that is by playing it out on my streams. So yeah. I'll be looking to do some harvesting, I think. However suspicious that sounds, actually. That sounds awful. Sounds like I'm going to, like, kill people. I'm not going to actually kill people, I promise.
Yeah. And so then, Morris Black was very much, it's odd. It felt like an end of festival set, right? Because there was an all-out thing. But it wasn't the end of the festival because there's much more. There's another day to come, and after Morris Black, you had Area. I'm going with Area. Yeah. Area. I can never tell. I was told once it's pronounced Area, but it's not by somebody I trusted.
And that's the other fucker, isn't it? It's always a trap. Again, it's not a word I'd ever try and pronounce because that's just a bunch of vowels in a letter that pretends to be a vowel sometimes. So nope, not for me. That one was, how I was talking about my friend Rona, name check, love you Rona, who Mechanical Vein didn't sit right with for the vibe that they were at. That for me was Arricc's set because it was bloody brilliant. It was really, really good. Like, damn, she can wail. Like, that is just incredible. But I was just like this pent up Aggie, like needing the noise, needing the crunch, and I just wasn't getting that. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna leave this awesomeness for everyone else in the room, and I'm gonna fuck off. And
so I really liked Arricc's set because I've been a fan for quite a number of years now, and it really hit home when she said this next track is 20 years old. Fuck.
Holy shit. Yeah.
Yes. So she played a really good set, but it wasn't just like, here's all my latest stuff, the things that I've created during the pandemic and all that sort of thing. It was very much like, here's some older stuff and some newer stuff, and basically some good stuff for, like, as I say, one of the tracks, 20 years old. So, and then the newer stuff like Underneath the Water and finishing on Horrible Dream, which is probably my favorite track. So yeah, I was very, very happy with the selection of the set that she put in. What was really surprising is So I think she said it was about 7 years since she was last in the UK, and 5 years. And I saw her on that tour because she played Glasgow, which will, me and Jen were chatting about on Friday night. Jen, the area, Jen, like, we're like that now. But it had been 5 years since she'd been on a stage at all.
What?
Yep. Just, tour kind of finished, pandemic, Resistance.
Fuck. Well, that is like level up respect. Like, I mean, respect was already high, but like that is like even more up there. That is incredible.
Yeah. So that's
Jesus.
You would never have guessed it. So, so anyway.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Wow, fair play, lass. That's immense.
Yeah. What's also interesting, so the two guys she had with her, I can't remember the name of the guy in the E-drums, but he was the German guy who played, and I know he played in quite a few named bands, that you would recognise if I could remember who they were. But on the synth and the keyboard, you had Arricc Gottsman. Arricc is seems to be a kind of general session musician that comes into so many bands, especially the tour. So he was at Infest, is part of Glass Apple Bonsai. Yes. Project Pitchfork, I see. I knew you'd recognise the names if I could remember the names. Thank you, Antibody. So there was a couple of technical problems during the area set, and at one point, one of the tracks, it started you could tell there was like glitches started creeping in with a little bit of regularity. It's like, at first you thought, was that supposed to be part of the song? I think that bit, did that bit just sound like it went backwards? And during one of the tracks, something was overheating, and that particular and then at the end of the track, Eric's like, "Oh, it's overheating." So they restarted all of the stuff, and then I fanned it a little bit, I think, and then
give it a little waft. It'll be fine.
Big sheath of A4, just like it's fine. Get a couple of small children with palm trees in, just wafting it for the rest of the set.
Oh god!
but where we were standing on one of the other tracks, though. The lighting desk decided to shit itself.
Fuck's sake.
Yeah, so we're like, well, that's just gone blank. Like all of the stuff that was there, and the guy looks like he's poking things. Normally, what lighting jockeys are like just hammer away a couple of buttons like they're playing chopsticks or something on piano. But just basically like all the lights were still going because they, by the way that all works, just like they get the rhythm and they just keep doing the same thing over and over again. And then he's like, kill everything, restart everything, turn things a bit. Like, great.
So Penny says there was actually a fan on stage, or do you mean as in a massive fan? Do you mean that they needed Fizz on stage because he's a massive fan? Yeah. Sorry, that was a really bad joke. Was it my really bad joke, or was it your really bad joke, Penny? Did I just steal your bad joke? I'm like, sorry, not sorry. Zero sorries. You mentioned Infest a minute ago.
Yeah.
We were chatting about this earlier, and how aren't we so fucking lucky to have two industrial electronic-y music festivals in the UK that are of this level? We are so lucky that they are so focused on this area of music, and they both do it so well. They do it differently in different ways, and I really like that they're different too. But I think we are very fucking spoiled, and enormous love to both Team Infest and Team Tanz, because we are very lucky people.
Yes.
Yeah.
If only they would make it closer to my house.
Yeah. Also, if Team Tanz and Team Infest could also just pop over the border and do a little.
It's some kind of traveling show. You can travel closer to my house every year.
Yeah.
So after the bands, then on the Friday, we're on the Saturday, we had the DJ sets.
We're on the Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. So I believe that instead of Her Noises Violence, we got a DJ set from friend of the channel, Mr. Matt Hart.
Yeah. Our boy, who also because on before him, another name I'm going to say wrong, Emanon, who was on first. Jane. So he was on first.
Yep.
Gabby, True Facts, yes. So he was on first, and then Matt was on. And then last night, Matt basically kidnapped two of the DJs and had them round for his usual Monday night stream, and Emanon was one of them, and also the Mole IXXI, the dude from Reykjavik, was over as well, and they had this kind of big massive thing, and it was sweet.
Basically,
it was
the party never stops in 3808.
Yeah.
And they make it as this kind of terrible industrial wasteland, but actually, I think it's the base is just blowing the cities flat.
It's true, and it's because Matt Hart never sleeps. So, yeah.
Yeah, and he put in a bit of appearance the next day as well.
He did, yeah.
But so after Matt, what was the other? There was another DJ. I lost my lineup, which I had here. This doesn't have the DJs on it. Yes. So it was not Black to Black after Matt Hart.
No, there was one. I'm not actually entirely sure if the lineup had changed again later on, but the Black to Black set, which was another one of the driving force of things we wanted to see that weekend and then epically failed to, because by the end of the Saturday night, so this is another little specific tale of our experience at Tanz. So bearing in mind, I'm actually the legitimately disabled one of our friendship group, right? Just putting that out there. I've got the badge and everything. So I was fucked, right? Still having a lovely time, had a little sit down, and it was all good. I was, headbanging, having a great time, all these lovely people, and the music was bloody brilliant to go, fucking great.
Yeah.
And smiling and waving at people and chatting with folk. And then on one side of me is Nero Cypher, on the other side of me is Arricc, and the pair of them are doing that thing when you refuse to get a chair, right? And you refuse to sit down, but you also can't stand up anymore. So you so you lean against a wall while squatting. And it's like, whoa, I'm still standing. I'm still fucking standing. It's not going to get the best of me. And then it was like, should we go home now? And we all decided it was definitely the best idea if we all went home and fucking died. And that's what we did.
We do.
Yeah.
We are exponents of the industrial lean.
Yes. The industrial lean, yeah. Definitely. It's totally legit, man. It works. Don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing it. It's a fucking hard vibe. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And then Sunday began with Andy's arse in the kitchen. Defeating Resist-ANTS. God, honestly. It was an emotional ride with the ants. But fucking Ratio Strain, I just she was just so good. Just so fucking good. And it was like
see Ratio Strain, because you played one of her tracks the last weekend on your pre-Tanz stream. I was like, this is a bit good.
This is a bit good. And I kind of was like, I was ready for it to be good, and then it happened and it was like, this is even better than good. And I really enjoyed like the performance element of it. But it was just it was the right vibe for the right point in the festival. So I think in terms of the lineup planning, it was done really well. But she was just fucking great.
It sounds like you had a religious experience.
Sorry?
Sounds like you had a religious experience.
I did a little bit, just a smidge. I always really enjoy when female artists are fucking badass and get the response that she did, and it was very, very worthy. It wasn't tokenistic. It was fucking great. And I was chatting with Jilly, who confirmed that the person behind Ratio Strain is a confirmed good egg. So that
So
is
this
an
is
extra
interesting
win.
because, like, I was not aware initially that Ratio Strain was a lass, because when she came on, you had the whole hood and like mask thing going on. Could have been anybody. Could be stunt double. Nobody knows. And then mask came off later. I was like, so this. I don't know if maybe that was a deliberate thing to get past potential gender bias in the whole industrial music, where like,
Possibly.
you know, if you don't know that you're watching a lassie, then you know, it wasn't particularly obvious, and then it's like, oh, okay,
Yeah, folk might actually just take her at her fucking awesome music.
yeah.
Ratio Strain was the girl in Waste as well. Thank you, anybody.
Thank you.
Did not know this. See, it's all a big like interwoven mash of awesome peeps making awesome tunes.
Wait, so
Maybe
is Waste a side project of Ratio Strain, or is Ratio Strain a side project of Waste?
hotly contested debate.
Yeah.
I'm beginning to wonder if maybe the whole of Tanz this weekend is actually just one big band. It's all just one giant band, and it's all just mashing up the lineups to make multiple little bands. Maybe that's the thing.
Well, given the next act up, which I believe is Antibody, and the various people that appeared on stage from other different bands.
I mean, given we have you here, you have a captive audience. Can you confirm or deny whether or not the entire lineup is just one giant, massive band? Before we say anything nice about your set.
Fucking knew it. Absolutely.
Which, by the way,
knew it.
Was fucking awesome.
Yes, we very much enjoyed your set.
Yeah, it was fucking immense. And it was, I think I'd actually come in like maybe a track in, and I walked in, and you know bass face. I walked in and immediately went, oh. I made like a mum bass face. It was just like, yeah, this is just immediately what I needed on a Sunday morning. It was just absolutely bloody great. And again, with the guest slots as well, bringing in other dimensions into what was already a baseline of great tunes. It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
I had the heads up from a friend of the channel, Mr. Matthew Hart, that something special might be about to happen during the Antibody set. So I made my way down quite close to the front for a Ratio Strain, and then back with their similar sort of piece for Antibody, and I was like, oh, this is good. This is really good. Like, again, bass right in the face. I think in the venue the sound was a lot better the further forward you went. But also, it was my first outing of my loop earplugs, which I was trying, and so while listening to some of the bands, I was like trying to work out if it was just like the earplugs were just absolutely killing the frequency levels and stuff. Like, and then it's been ages like
which
poking
loops
them.
do you have, by the way?
The cool black ones.
Oh, okay. You don't know which ones you got. Okay.
I want to say Experience Pro plus Pro.
Oh, okay. Right, yeah.
I went through the wizard and it said that these are the ones you want. I went, yes, they are.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, I've been trying not to listen to such loud music. It's definitely we're getting too old, Charlie, because it's like, oh, my ears, a bit of tinnitus, again, another one of those words. So it's like, this time, when you go to a festival, I'm going to listen to ridiculously loud music, but be safe about it.
Yeah,
so right in front.
Too many years, particularly of attending power noise festivals and not having earplugs. And now being more aware of my sensitivities to sound, I'm like, I'm definitely going to wear earplugs. And I have different types of loops for different environments. And this weekend was my loop experience environment, and they worked out really well. The only time they weren't so great was on bands that had female vocalists, basically. And they isolated it wrong. But anyway, that's LoopChat. Joining us for LoopChat. But yeah, it otherwise, sound quality wise was just fucking great. Hey, Harron TV just sliding in there with a little pun, as he does.
Yeah.
Yes, we all. I don't want to agree with you that we need a Luke experience, because that sounds like something else.
Mm-hmm. I know somebody with a dog called Luke. Just saying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But so Antibody, who were the people that appeared on stage with you before Matt? I believe it was some kind of German drinking song, and they came on with cans of Red Stripe.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point, because I think I had missed.
Dance for Blood.
That's who it bloody was. Right, that makes sense. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, totally. Thank you.
They've also been announced
totally makes
for
sense, because that was fucking
DJing
great.
Morris Bastille. They're doing a thing with, so there's a thing on one of the nights at Morris Bastille with being organised by Paratronics, with Catalamode, who's part of Indie Mode, who played at Resistanz, and Dance for Gladiators are on that lineup for that night as well.
And the more interwoven, lovely musical world.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Dance for Gladiators, right? I had to actually put them on my list.
You making a note?
Earlier. Yeah, the
Make
good
a note
list,
of
not the other list of people who don't get Christmas presents.
That's nice, anybody. We like it when it's obviously I've got like a wholesome bias where it's like I like banging tunes, I like a bit of wonk, I like a bit of weird, I like a bit of like real filthy, dirty beats. But I like the wholesomeness. So when it's like friends having a nice time together, I'm like, yes, I'm there for this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So were they
Definitely.
Yes, they DJ'd right at the end of the night, I think, on the Saturday. Yeah.
Were they the Saturday? Or were they the? I think they might have closed off the festival actually on the Sunday.
I'm looking.
I can't
I
remember.
need to scroll this a little bit more because when they announced all the lineups, because I just looked at something that somebody. Nope.
Yeah, anybody. That is totally what it's all about in the end. Yes. It's just dicking about and having a good time with your mates. Because really, what's the point otherwise?
That's the VGN.
That's why me and this dickhead hang out.
that's like the whole thing here. Yeah. Nope, it just says that's Sunday. I'm looking the wrong day. Warehouse DJs 11 till 3:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Next up was Dark Machine Nation. And this was another one which had a comical Charlie's a Dork storyline attached to it. Because all weekend I had been bumping into this really nice man. And I'd been chatting to him. And we'd started off with little casual waves, because I'm quite a smiley, wavy person. Even if I don't necessarily know someone, I'll give them a little hello kind of thing. Mostly because I'm awkward as all shit. And I just want ow, hi. And I just kind of want people to feel safe with me. So I'll usually give people a smile and a wave. And this guy was usually still on his own, so I was always giving him a smile and a wave, and a couple of times I'd gone and chatted to him just to check in, see how he was doing, if he was having a nice time, and he was always, friendly, nice bloke and stuff.
Yeah.
Rewind previously, there's this music that I've been listening to that's been very good and I've been very much enjoying, and then fast forward to post kind of come down after Antibody. This fucking guy just walks on stage and I'm like, fuck, that's the guy. That's the guy I've been talking to, and that's the guy whose music I've been listening to. Fuck. And it was just monstrous. Absolute filth. I really liked his use of sampling and the way he did it. It was a really technical set, set. I really wanted to be nosy and have a look at his rig. That was the only problem. I wanted to get up on stage and have a little look-see.
I totally wasn't looking at MIDI keyboards and all kinds of stuff on Amazon. I'm very reading reviews on the weekend. I don't know the project.
Yeah, there's too many shiny things.
Yes.
But yeah, I was really intrigued by what he was doing and how he was doing it, and it was just fucking great. And it was a really well pieced together set that flowed really, really well. And monstrous, I think, is the best word, but not monstrous in like a bad way. I like monsters, so monsters are good for me. What were your vibes?
It was very much in my face. like, that was another one where I'm like adjusting the loops, going, oh, that is quite loud, or it's supposed to, it's deliberately slightly fuzzy, or where it just doesn't sound. Actually, no, that's supposed to sound that way. It was good. I enjoyed it. It's definitely another one on my list of things to spend a bit more time looking into after the festival.
Yeah.
But what I took away from what you just said is that you had the reverse of the how do I speak to a band experience, or how do I speak to an artist, where instead of standing there going, oh, there he is, it's a guy from Tanz Nation, how do I speak to him? You go, oh, fuck, I've been speaking to the guy from and I didn't clock him at all.
But the thing is, which didn't prevent me from then, after having seen him on stage, then going up to him and going, which I did after. Which reminds me, I need to backpedal a bit because of when I went and it was later on Sunday, and it was just after I'd been chatting or going at Turkish Team Nation guy, and just at the next food stall down, Antibody was stood trying to buy some fucking noodles. Just a normal guy trying to buy some fucking noodles. And some dickhead walks up to him, and is all like, oh, hi, I just wanted to say it was a really good set, and thank you very much. And I'm really sorry, is what I want to say, Antibody, for interrupting your noodle acquirement. That was not fair. You really just needed some noodles, and that was bad timing. But thank you for tolerating me. I appreciate it. Oh, mate, I bet you were exhausted. Fucking hell, yeah. It was that late on a Sunday. We were all a bit overwhelmed. Yeah. Oh.
It was heading into that sort of twilight of just like,
all flying in. I couldn't eat most of the food that was in the venue as well. So the only food that I could eat there was the coffee. Thank you, little what was
little
it?
The
little bean machine.
Yes.
Which honestly, when I noticed its name, I was so happy. being the person of the beans. And I went to the Greek vendor, and I could eat their halloumi and like a little bit of their falafel. So I would have to pay the same price as if I had bought like a full kebab with all the works.
Yeah.
But only get some halloumi and a little bit of falafel, and I would just sit there like I don't even care. Like this is fine. this is good. Oh, Penny, yeah, I get that totally. I spoke to Mary as well, and it was like even when I was actually in conversation with them, I was still like retracting my words whilst saying my words, because I was like, I'm bothering them even just by talking. This is just awful. But for the most part, I think generally people, you know, when they're hanging out at the festival, like they're there because they want to be around the people that they've been playing the music to. I think if they didn't want to be spoken to, they would just disappear off. And
so I had one moment, one really
airport.
bad moment where I should have. I was going to go over and speak to some folk, because there was like a group of 4 folk. So there was Jen area, friend of the channel, Mr. Matthew Hart, Keith from Mechanical Vein, and Infest Chris. I was like, as places like, I'm sure they're just in the middle of speaking about something very important. Like, I know all of these people now. I've known some of them for years. So why am I not going over and speaking to them? Just the whole, they're the artists, they're playing. So I'm terrible at it.
It's totally a thing, though, isn't it? And it's the same thing. It's like I know like all these people from like all my time doing a whole bunch of dickish stuff all over the country, and it doesn't stop me from going, oh no, I can't possibly talk to them because what if I'm a dick? And it's like, no, but they're your friends. Or there are people who could become your friends, or if they don't want to talk to you, they'll just say, not right now, I'm doing something, or not right now, I'm trying to buy noodles.
I'll deal with you after I put food in my face. You just take it, looking by Penny doing the creepy. I'm just going to sit and eat my noodles and stare at Tom Shearer.
I love that you said I yelled awesome set at Black Book. I think that's legit. That's definitely legit.
It was. But so if you like, I think there was a few folk that came up to me, which I was like, oh, hello, oh, great, you watched the stream, fantastic. So Hazel Baum, who popped up earlier, was one of these people that I meant to try and get back to and say hello again to. But like, if you're thinking of coming up to us, just fucking do it. Just come up,
Definitely.
say hi. It doesn't matter if we're chatting with folk, just fucking come over and say hi, because you will not be as weird as dorky as we will be.
Legitimately, the biggest dorks in the room are these two dickheads. So please always come and say hi. Someone came up to me, right, and shouted wonk at me. And I don't think I will ever reach the heady heights of that joy ever in my life ever again. Is someone who is not a friend of mine, who's not just putting up with my bullshit, but someone who has watched my streams and came up to me and shouted wonk at me, and it was absolutely wonderful. And obviously now I know who they are, and it was really nice. And they're also a Virtual Goth Night person.
Hello, Chell.
And it was just beautiful. Yeah, really nice. So Chell, yeah, that was really, really wholesome.
Yep.
Just lush.
Yep.
Just lush. So where did we get to? We kind of stopped off. Oh, you went into stage 2, but I couldn't figure out how to get into it in an accessible format because I was scared in the dark room. So you wandered off.
There was a door.
Had more of an adventure.
There was a door. You walked through the door. There was a step to. It was like a kind of slightly raised floor, and I was like, so me and Nero Cypher went in, Powder, and stood at the back. Did the industrial lean against the back wall, trying not to look at the a foot drop to the side of me, thinking if I start dancing and you really get into this, I'm going to break a leg or something. But yeah, there was as you kind of came in from the courtyard, there was a possible other door on the left that would take you in, or if you went into the main room down that back wall, there was another door. So you kind of had two-pronged approach. It was actually really struck home to me that the venue is very modular with the number of rooms they could possibly have, because it was a small room with a tiny little stage and a bar, and there was the shutters were down halfway across the main room, but that was another area with also a bar, and then on the other side of that, obviously you had the other bar, which was down by the accessible area and the bigger stage, and then I think there was something upstairs as well, and some kind of disco corridor.
Which was accessed by the fucking coolest stairwell I have ever seen in my life. Like giant, like UV psychedelic tripping balls artwork. It was fucking incredible. Yeah, great.
Yeah. So we went into there and saw Isoloscope, who were another late substitution for Voxnut, were originally in the lineup, but fair play to him. Rocked up, did his thing. We stood at the back, did the industrial lean, staring at Morris Black's back, standing in front of me. Can't speak to him.
Did you do it an awkward shuffle of oh, it's that cool guy?
Yeah, but it's just a guy. It's cool. It's Morris Black. But that was good. Again, it was more of the kind of hard-hitting industrial bass, just very entertaining, very
which is good because that is a nice switch out for Voxnut, because that was one of the other ones that I really wanted to see, and was kind of sad that I'd not managed. I just couldn't navigate in the dark and couldn't get my bearings, so I just kind of went, I'll leave that one. I'm glad that they switched out, even it was sad that they couldn't do it. I'm glad they switched out for a similar level of unts.
I mean, you probably was there anyway, because it's all just one big giant band.
It's just one big giant band. Just interchangeable, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. But I also think that's the point, that the crew in the main room must go for their dinner, have some tea, because they kind of shut that all off. You got a nice gap of about an hour with the smaller room, and then they come back after they've eaten their noodles.
There was also a fair setup to do, because Master Boot record we're playing, and they had a bit of a stage shenanigans going on, which required a bit of mastery, but so I imagine some of that time wasn't just eating hummus and falafel, and it was actually rigging and all that stuff, but they blew my fucking mind. They absolutely blew my fucking mind, and were the beginning of the reason why my neck is so sore.
It's just that one event. It's not years of abuse. So it's just that one event.
Yeah, it's not the years of abuse. It's just this one time.
at Industrial Band Camp.
It was just fucking incredible, so good. But my heart did a little sad because there was a space next to me that should have been filled with Worms and Spooks. Because they would have lost their shit over that band. They absolutely would have lost their shit. So that was the first time the whole festival I took any photos or videos of any of the bands, because I needed to capture it to send it to them to say, oh my fucking god, you need to look this band up, they're fucking amazing.
So you're basically
for any of you who don't know, these are not friends who have passed away, don't worry. These are incredible friends, long-term friends of ours. And if you're a BGN regular, you'll probably know about them.
This was composed. Oh, wrong. This was actually composed. That was composed by Worms, the delectable Mr. Worms, and Spooks Gallery, who's an incredible artist, and they're both incredible humans and very, very, very dear friends of ours who fucked off to the United States and abandoned us. They didn't abandon us; they're wonderful. But they are definitely Tanz people, and they are definitely. I've just had a brilliant thought. Sorry. They are definitely Tanz people, and they are definitely Master Boot record people. I've just realised that the big industrial interchangeable band could be called Tanz people, like Pans people. That might be a good name for the band. That is awful. I would expect that kind of terrible pun from How Wrong TTV.
I know! How Wrong TV. That's like up there with you. Are you proud? Or are you fully ashamed? But anyway, so yeah. They were just fucking great. And I needed some wailing guitars at that point. And it was just exactly what the doctor ordered.
That was my, I think at that point I was stuffing my face full of the aforementioned noodles. That was my noodle break.
Was anyone interrupting you?
Nope.
No interruptions.
I think they were just like, oh my god, what is he putting in his face? How does he even eat?
Who even is this guy?
Yeah, no.
And then it was Black Book.
Yes, so Black Book.
Which we need to discuss, don't we?
Yes. Completely different style to the rest of the festival. And
ain't no bad thing in the slightest. It was a little, like, you know when you're halfway through a really fucking wreckhead night and you're absolutely fucking trolleyed, and your mate goes, here, have a soda and lime. This will sober you up before you then get back on the beers again. Black Book were like the soda and lime of the weekend. They just kind of were really, really refreshing and brilliant. And after everything we've been through together, it was just a really lovely thing to get to see them. It really was very special.
I was very happy to see them. It was their second ever gig as well. They flew in from Switzerland, having supported VNV Nation on the Friday night in Switzerland with one or two other bands. But, you know, they have the whole kind of anonymity thing going on, a little bit Daft Punk. So my understanding is that they are kind of music industry people, which is why it did not look like it was their second gig. So they're kind of obviously do other things musical, and then this is just Black Book is essentially like a side project to their day job. Sort of thing. A
bloody great side project,
awesome yes, yeah. But it was very. It was good. I've been looking forward to seeing them for so long. Yep, Tanz was the second ever gig.
Antibody says they're lovely people. Confirmation of loveliness.
Wholesome
is what we need.
You need industrial bass, wholesome, synthwave, wholesome, all that very wholesome festival. It's always people
that's
like,
what we're here for.
They're lovely people. Yeah, I was very impressed.
Definitely.
So they don't have a lot of music. That they've got like one album,
Yeah.
And I think actually they have one album and they have a cover of Seven Nation Army that they've done,
which
was
is
on
fucking incredible.
It was on the Hard Pop album.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were pretty good. I would beyond pretty good. A major band of the festival for me. After obviously Blink 242. But they were one of the
lovely
they were a major draw for me. To
yeah,
go and
I think for us it was a particular thing because of the link to everything through Virtual Goth Night and how Black Book were one of the kind of the key bands through the lockdown bit of Virtual Goth Night, and how that music really spoke to a lot of people who were coming to our streams during that time and who are still coming to our streams now. But Black Book particularly were one of the real standouts. So to get to actually see them, and like I was saying to them when they commented on my post on Facebook, which made me kind of shit myself a bit. But I said to them, getting to sing along with you is like is a whole thing. I mentioned earlier about that kind of emotive connection that you get with bands that you have like a real respect for. That's a legit thing. It's a real vibe you get with those artists, and to get to stand in a crowd full of weirdos who are having the same feels is a big deal. So yeah, that was a real highlight, even if it was to one wonky side of the rest of the genre.
A bit of a juxtaposition underneath is the two things that are very dissimilar but go very well together.
Yeah, so Gabby, you're asking, did they play the Sunday? They were on at 8:25, so you had been there for 25 minutes when they came on. So you were probably just doing your rounds and saying hello when Black Book came on.
Crowd was getting a bit ugly at the end, though. They really want an encore.
Yeah, they really did, but they literally ran out of music.
Yeah. Well, they haven't played Seven Nation Army.
Oh yeah, good point. That would have been fucking great. Actually, I'd have loved that if they played that.
Epic encore. We want to play that.
Yeah. Oh my god, that would have been so good. Yeah, and End Transmission has just very kindly, like in some kind of planned segue, has just mentioned the next band on. But I really feel I'm gonna hold this away from my face while I say this next word. Tanz is the only way to introduce them, and that is Wolfband, because this is the segment of the day when I was sat chatting with Jilly and Marie of Grab Your Face, and got the insider knowledge from Marie when they came bouncing out saying they're still stood in their pants backstage, and they were clearly meant to be on stage quite some time ago, because all the crew were shitting themselves about all the stage timings being completely on the wonk after that point. And the kind of it just escalated from that point, where the chant of pants was just kind of coming from various parts of the room after that point. So it just and then by the end of the set he was in his pants, and I don't think those two things were actually even linked, but just the theme of pants was the whole thing. But I swear that man is an Energizer Bunny. Like, how is anyone over the age of 25 got that much energy?
Well, he clearly saved some energy by being carried on stage.
Maybe this is the trick I need to do: save some beans and just get carried around everywhere.
Yeah, I'm not entirely quite sure, given what you've just said, if that was the security going, "Fucking hell, you're on now, mate. Come on,
just get on the fucking stage, you
put in the
dick."
front, start singing.
Oh god, yeah, it was so good.
By the time they went, I lasted a couple of songs, and at this point my brain was starting to be turned into a bit of mush, and my weekend was starting the long drive home the next day, and just the late nights and being was starting to all gang up on me, and my back, the industrial lean was just not enough. So I tapped out and went and caught up with some friends who I've not seen in a while. looked at some people in bands and decided not to speak to them. Just chat with friends and had some good banter. Which was
nice.
Because not just the bands. One of the reasons to go to festivals like this is to catch up with your mates that you only see at festivals. It's
this
like
is
weddings,
very, very
funerals,
true.
festivals. That's what it is now, isn't it?
It is, and I think it is kind of an important thing. Is like actually getting that chance to talk to people. I'm so gonna sneeze. Oh god, I'm gonna take my Britney headset off.
Jeez, we'll mute
it's
that.
Britney, bitch. But yeah, and I really, really appreciate that because I don't really have much of a social life. A lot of the time, I am stuck at home because of my health, and getting to a festival of any kind is an enormous treat for me. Getting to a big social event of any kind is an enormous treat for me, and getting that many wonderful, wonderful dickheads in one place who I know from all over the country and abroad in one fucking venue is like gold dust. So it's really, really difficult when you have a band on that you are like, this band is another one of the best bands. It's so good, but also there's all these people that I haven't seen, and it's a real difficulty.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's stuck. Not kidding. Everyone I met was really, really lovely. After being accused of being paid promotion.
Paid promotion. I'm just seeing anybody confirm that they are actually batshit crazy though, and I'm really not surprised because I don't think you can fake that that level of actual batshit craziness.
You have to draw it from somewhere.
Yeah.
No, I think that's one of the
things about
festivals is you go, you see your friends, you catch up, but it's that. There's the bands that draw you there, but also you can't get to see your mates that you only see maybe 2-3 times a year. You make a huge effort to get there. It's just one slightly long weekend, and then you don't bother doing any tourist stuff, or maybe you do.
Yeah,
but it involves getting up early.
And like some of my friends there, I haven't seen in like over a decade. And, all our lives are so very different now because we're all probably quite old. And, life has changed and happened to a lot of us. And, it probably is worth a conversation or two.
Yep.
And there's just no space for it when everywhere you go is and there's totally a time and a place for that. And I'm all over that shit. But I would also quite like at some point to sit down and have a cup of tea with these beautiful, beautiful weirdos that I'm very, very proud and very, very privileged to call my friends, and shoot the shit with those fuckos as well.
Speaking of weirdos.
What?
KyNon, hello.
What? Oh, it's that dickhead. Hey, KyNon. Yeah. I can't read and talk at the same time, so this is like a thing. I'm going to have to learn a new skill if I'm going to do this again. Hey, KyNon. Sorry, should I say? How you doing, sweet pea? Oh, thanks, Gabby.
Yeah,
thanks for the follow. That's a real Twitch thing to say. Thanks for the follow. I always feel bellend. I always feel weird thanking people for follows and subs and stuff because I feel like I'm being like a proper Twitch person, and I definitely don't feel legit enough to be a proper Twitch person. I'm not like a real grown up.
I don't have my bell in button. That's my other streaming setup. Imagine Charlie doing that.
Me doing my bell end dance, which is like sometimes referred to as the green screen motherfucker dance, and other times referred to as the bell end dance. Actually, this might be a good opportunity for me to tell the story of the green screen suit that you sent me.
Yes.
And what actually happened to the first green screen suit, which is not the green screen suit you see in the Virtual Goth Night trailer. So people who know Virtual Goth Night will know about the antics of the green screen, which is mostly trademarked by this, but also there was the VGN News 24, which was the main use of the green screen. And that time I got ketchup on it doing the ketchup catos thing for goth tasking, which was Taskmaster for goths. The green screen's seen a lot of action. I actually have 2 green screens, which is one more green screen than anybody really needs in their lives, particularly for someone who's not really doing much green screen stuff anymore, but I will at some point do more stuff.
Good.
However, a little while ago, some dickhead, that guy, sent me some more kit for my music setup, because he's a very nice man and frankly a creative enabler, which I'm very, very lucky to have. And in the box, so it was all like nicely wrapped up in its proper box. I do like it when kit is kept in its original box. Was a fucking green screen suit. There was nothing written on it or anything. It wasn't like, here's to being a dickhead or anything. It was just straight up green screen suit. Nothing said about it. So I did not say anything about the green screen suit, and I just kept it knowing that at some point I would find a reason to use this green screen suit. And I had been working on a new trailer in my head, because I kind of edit stuff in my head for videos that I make like months in advance before I'm doing a thing. And I was like, we need a new trailer. It's been 3 years that we've been streaming. I'll make us a new trailer. And I had this image in my head of the opening shot, and it was going to be like maybe a 1.5 second shot. But the image was me in the green screen suit in a graveyard, goths, obviously, me in a graveyard, popping up behind all the different headstones, doing the green screen motherfucker dance. And I would just overlay the shot so that you would get multiple bell ends on the camera. This is a great idea. And I planned the shoot and everything else.
The way you've described I've got it pictured in my head. I can see it.
Just beautiful. Problem being, so I had a spotter planned for the day, because I need someone to watch the camera, because I'm quite far away from the camera and I'm not tethered to it. Only my spotter fell through, and I couldn't get anyone else to come and do it. So it was literally just me on my own I can't even remember where I was. I just went Google Maps, graveyard, like not in the center of Birmingham because I would get mugged. Went somewhere else out into the sticks to a fucking graveyard that looked a bit pretty and was on a hill so I could get the right shot. Went out there and just had to walk around in a green screen suit on my own in a graveyard in like the middle of the fucking day, doing this like a fucking dickhead behind and walking between all the stones to get all the different shots and stuff. Clearly got disturbed by a number of dog walkers who were like, who's this fucking dickhead? But before that bit even happened, the day before, I was like, I should probably check that this green screen suit fits. So, get the green screen suit out of the bag. Oh, that's a bit wee. That's a bit wee. I'll give it a go. And I pulled it on, and it was clearly made for a child. Like literally a child, not even a small woman, but an actual child. And it went over my feet, and the crotch was at my knees and the arms were at my hips. And I thought, right, I can get around this. So I cut the toes off with the plan being that I could just pull it up my legs and have like, because I'll be behind a gravestone, it won't be seeing my legs anyway. I'll pull it up my legs and just have like a green torso. That'll be fine. So I just cut the toes off, and then I pulled it up, and the whole thing just began to disintegrate. So the crotch ripped, and then I started to put my arm in, and then the arm ripped off, and it was basically like something from the Hulk, but only it wasn't a green person ripping out of a top. It was a person ripping out of a green top. It was just awful. So I had to buy another green screen suit just because I was so fucking determined to get this shot. So now I own a fucking green screen suit and pieces of a green screen suit, including the toes. So at some point, I'm going to have to make a video, which is just me editing out my toes.
Let me just... How tall would you say you are?
I'm not telling you, because you'll send me something else that's going to be bad.
No, like you'll need to watch the stream while I slide this on, because you won't see it on Discord.
Okay.
Everybody should slowly see this sliding on. 155 to 175 centimeters in height is the size that I bought.
Oh, that is so not what came. It was like a 7-year-old child's green screen suit.
Also, there's some fantastic shots of, I don't know if these are just like, people.
Yes, and they have to do like haunted toes in a graveyard. Only it's like the reverse of that, because it's not toes, it's like untoes, because it's the green screen on the tip of the toes. So it would be like all of a person just without toes. Because I'd be chroma keying out my toes. So honestly, fucking stupid bullshit. Maybe out of the bits that are left over, I could make a tiny green screen outfit for the weirdling feral. Maybe that's what I should do with what's left. Dude, where's my toes? Oh god. Yeah, so what you're showing on stream is basically what I bought, only the size of a human as opposed to a child. So that was the fun foray into the green screen suit, and why I'm like a double bell end. So why the dance is called the green screen motherfucker dance, but also sometimes just gets called the bell end dance.
Total bell end.
Because I am a bell end.
So last band of the
Total
weekend,
fucking bell end.
we didn't make it to Grendel or Grundle.
We didn't make
what
it,
their
man.
logo looks like. Who saw Grendel?
Yeah.
What did you think of them?
If you've stayed in chat long enough through my ridiculous monologue, who got to see Grendel and what did you think? Did you do the industrial lean to make it through the night?
So some of Grendel, yes, that's not that. Isn't that a
Some
cool question?
of Grendel.
We saw Grendel.
Penny saw them.
Did they play Zombie Nation? That's what all everyone was know, isn't it?
Oh, Antibody, zero sympathy, mate. Sadly, I missed them because I had to drink Jaeger with Wolfband. Oh yeah, gutted, mate. That sounds like a real sad story.
Like he wasn't here with all. Some of Grendel then wandered off to chat to people. Didn't rate them, but they were good. But he's not 20 anymore, and the old ones don't sound great without voice change.
Oh.
Headphones equals earplugs.
I guess kind of that's like I think that point you're making about like the voice change. We can all say a bit about that. You know, we're not what we used to be, and we're all a bit ropey around the edges. And
can't hit the low notes either.
Pleasantly entertained, Kinnan.
Good.
That's nice. Lexi's another one who wandered off to prioritise chatting to folk. That's nice.
Because I think no. Did we make a move? It must just be as Grendel were about to go on. And I did feel like there was a lot more people who were doing a social event over in the warehouse than there had been at most points during the weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
definitely there was
a. So Shuffling Puffin had a bit of a moment when she bought some latex from the stand that was in the hall on the Saturday, which was made by Kuro, who is part of Grendel now. He's from Glasgow, and Kuro is kind of like band he also plays in, who I totally missed when they came up to Aberdeen. Time-wise, didn't work for me, but I have been absolutely meaning to check them out live as a potential. Hey, they're kind of local scene band. Maybe they'd work really well as a support if we can bring along a larger act or something at some point in the future. So I now have an in because he started following Shuffling Puffin on Instagram. She's just had a total
hey. Oh, Shuffling's genuinely squeeing in chat. Souffle, poufle. Yeah, Gabby, I think Grendel not being the same band anymore is possibly literally a lineup statement, because there's been significant lineup changes in Grendel over the years, and I think that's just a naturally accepted part of like being in a band sometimes, is you kind of just change and evolve, and
especially with like in such a small scene that the kind of goth industrial EDM scene is, You
Yeah.
see it with like the club nights and that people are aging out, going on and doing other things. And if you're in a band and it's your main thing, then that's great. But if you're just like in to help your mate or whatever, then maybe you're not as committed. I mean, you look at Covenant, right? It's only really Escort that's left there.
Yeah. And like, sounds change as well. Like you'll be, and Grendel are a really good example of that, because they've hit a few different vibes in their kind of sound over the years.
Yeah.
And they'll be, for one release focusing on one particular sound. And so they might have a particular lineup specifically for that release because that's what they want to capture.
Yeah.
But it's legit to say they're not the same band anymore, but I don't know whether that's your personal view or if you're just making a statement on the lineup changes.
Gabby, it's Kuro from Grendel. So he's in, I don't know what his real name is, but his band is also called Kuro. They supported someone in Ivory Blacks recently. I can't remember who. I can't remember. Let me turn to the internet to answer the question for me.
Yes, archive full of YouTubers. I think a few people were enjoying Kuro's aesthetic. Speaking of which, actually, there were some utterly incredible outfits this weekend. There was many people I complimented on how they'd put themselves together this weekend, because especially when they were feeling like absolute shit, it was amazing to see folk feeling like themselves, representing themselves as their true selves and as their most authentic selves. And yeah, it felt like a really nice, expressive place of people looking fucking badass. It was great. There was some really nice looks.
Yeah.
And also some really nice comfort as well. There was one day someone came up to me to compliment me on an outfit, and I was like, "That's really kind of you to say, but actually, this is the most comfortable thing I brought with me because it's all really stretchy. Like everything I was wearing, like a chest cage which I had made out of elastic, so that it was like it had the look of like a heavy like chest cage, but because it's all like O-rings and D-rings, but I made it out of elastic so that it's all like not touching me wrong kind of vibes, which is nice. And a soft like stretchy cotton dress, which just happens to be a Creepsville dress. And it was just, I purposely made the outfit to be like as comfy as possible, so it was basically like wearing like pajamas. I just looked fucking cool. But there was a lot of people there who were doing the balancing the line between comfort and aesthetic, and I like it when people do that as well, because I think comfort's really important, as particularly when you're at a full weekend event, because honestly, like just haven't got the beans for not being comfortable anymore. It's like when people come up to people who wear dresses and they say to them, "Oh, I like your dress," and the response is, "Thanks, it has pockets." My response is, "Thanks, it's really comfortable."
Antibody, thank you very much.
Oh,
for joining
cheers.
us. And
thanks for sticking with us, dude. It's great to have you around.
Yeah. Come back on Friday. We do a kind of DJ set and all kinds of general bollocks across the goth and goth adjacent. I feel very typecast by using the word goth, but it's not trad goth by any stretch of the imagination.
No, not that goth. And then on Sundays you can catch me streaming, which is a bit more bleepy bloopy and noisy. That's me on Sundays, 3 until 5 p.m. UK time, baby.
Yeah. Yes, much bullshit. Fantastic.
Yes, much bullshit.
Yeah. I've been trying to decide what kind of set to put together on Friday. You know how much I plan in advance. Usually it's like I start at 9, so I think about what I'm going to start with about 1 minute to 9. Because did a straight alternative kind of about a month ago. I did a straight alternative night. I'm kind of feeling like maybe a bit more on the harder industrial EBM, a little bit less on the trad.
Yeah.
Not that very heavy on trad in most weeks anyway. But
yeah.
Turn up and find out. See what kind of.
I've had like since I got back, I needed to have like a massive sensory switch out. So I've had like some real kind of ambient trip hop and kind of really hyper chilled electronica on the go. So loads of like Knit and Sawney and Bonobo and that kind of stuff. That's been my vibe since I got back. And I'm really torn between having, because my Sunday streams are coffee shop to club night, so it's that kind of chilled vibe into what the fuck is this? I'm in a club but I don't really know what kind of club it is kind of thing. So that element can change. But I'm really torn this week as to whether to do extra chilled bit to kind of have a bit of comfort for everyone who might still be feeling a bit damaged, or whether to actually just really embrace how heavy everything was feeling at the weekend and really go large on that. I'm not sure.
Everybody who's like, I just need a weekend off.
Yeah. Maybe I just need to play like nursery rhymes or something.
Don't do that. So, other than
no fucking Enya. Oh, Stitch, seriously, you know I like you. Don't make me not like you.
Oh, Stitch, I'll play Enya on Friday, don't worry. Other than DJs and bands, there was a few other bits and pieces like the catering and the Chinese and Greek bands. I thought they were quite good as on balance. Obviously, you know, where you've got a limited amount of space, you're not going to be able to cater for absolutely everybody.
Yeah.
But for me, I managed to get something from both of them, which was good. I thought it was all right. And then there was the coffee van that went down an absolute storm until
Honestly,
it closed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so coffee, like having actual, not just like there's a sachet of Nescafe and a kettle at the back, which used to be at the club that I used to run events at. That was the tea and coffee situation, which is fine. Don't get me wrong, it's fine. But a fucking barista in a nightclub, that is the fucking tits. Like I think there needs to be like the bar and then the barista. Like that is the fucking dream as far as I'm concerned. But if they could have stayed open past 8, I mean, I think on the Sunday they did. I think they were open until about 9, but it was certainly, you know, no later than 9:30 at the absolute latest. And you know, those of us who weren't drinking alcohol and weren't necking energy drinks or getting light up glasses, we were, you know, living by that coffee machine. Well, it was a machine. It was a little bean machine. Yep. I really would have enjoyed that to have been open a bit later.
Hello, Julie. Gingerbread bunny was indeed the tits, she says.
Ah, Jilly! Bin day. Oh, actually, Jilly, now that the surprise is over and you're in my studio, so I can share this with you, I think there's something you need to see.
Is this a massive
BRB?
Glitter just off camera? When constructing the bins and all the glitter, I did actually suggest that you could have filled the bin of lollipops with glitter, and it would have just been a challenge for people. How much do they really want a lollipop? Yes, no voice. That was my Friday night. I was no, I've had enough. I've been speaking to too many people. I'm also very excited to see what Charlie's going to bring from our little nooks and crannies. I feel like I should be playing some suspenseful music. Wait, that's not your bin headdress. What we got?
Right, so Jilly. So Jilly is a fucking delight, and as we all know, as I discussed earlier on, Friday was bin day, and because I live to make my friends laugh, and I was really excited to see Jilly again after so long, I made her a gift. Part of that gift was the fucking joke of seeing me with a bunch of bins on my head, and the second part of that gift was a small bin that was branded to Jilly's Little Bin Company. It was all like fucked up and like graffiti style to take home. And it was all full of lollipops. She got to take that home. But to enable these little craft projects to happen, I had to buy some supplies. And that included making my own spray booth because I don't have any outside space here. So I have a fucked up cardboard box full of glitter and glue, which at some point will probably explode and fill my flat with glitter and glue. And the other thing is, I have a number of small wheelie bins because you can't buy them singly. You have to buy them in a multi-pack. So if anybody is in the market for a medium-sized wheelie bin, you know who to call.
So basically, every time you see Jilly from now on until next 3 times, you've got 3 more bins.
That's it now. It's going to start to look like a bit of a weird thing, like it's that dickhead with them bins again.
Jesus Christ, there's Charlie. Just let's get it over with. Fuck, give me the bin.
Yeah, fucking hell. You're milking this joke a bit, you dickhead. But yeah. I might just start like leaving. Oh, I'm so glad you liked it, Jilly. I might just start like I don't know, like maybe like sending them to people who know Jilly, like living in her local area, and having them just like put in places like near her home. So it becomes like, it goes from being like a lovely friend thing to a slightly sinister thing, like she's being stalked by bins.
It's almost like
virtual bin day. That's the name of my next stream.
You just need to. Like,
oh my god! Actually,
you can put a bin at the back, just like hidden, just subtly in the corner.
Stealth bin. I'll put it as part of my setup. Actually, Jilly, I'll have virtual bin days one of my streams if you'll come and guest DJ for me.
Oh, there you go. There we go.
There you go. Just putting that out there. Adam, I'm being stalked by bins. Shit. Hey, Miss Hart. Yeah, you've missed some stuff. Some things have happened. There's been some bins. There's been some green screen. There's been some chat about a festival that we went to.
So you had your bin thing. What other kind of top non-band moments do you think you had? Other than the ants.
The bin thing, the coffee van, fucking coffee van, man. That's the tits. The accessibility of the venue, I've got to mention that because my life, well, you know, everyone has a lens that they see life through, you know, and my lenses are always queer stuff and disabled stuff. That's my vibe. And I've already mentioned about people being able to authentically be themselves over the weekend, and that was fucking immense. And I was really like big eyes beautiful about how great that was. That was really great to see. And also great to be myself as well. So that was wonderful. But in terms of, you know, we're always told that older venues or unusual venues can't be accessible. We can't make them accessible. It's not possible. We can't do it. It's too hard. It's too complicated. And Corp are like, nah, mate, we're doing it. And it just worked. I mean, it's obviously not going to be perfect, and access clash is always going to be a thing, and at a noisy event that's always going to be an issue, but they did really, really well to have more seats than they've had at previous years. That was a big bit of feedback that they responded to. Seats that had backs, that was an enormous thing for those of you who needed to do the industrial lean. That would have been nice if you'd actually given in and fucking sat down, you dickhead. They have an actual accessible toilet. Would have been nice if it had a mirror in it though, but there is an accessible toilet which is accessed with a radar key. So there was a nice safe space for us there. And the main stage had an accessible area that was large enough for a number of wheelchair users to use, a number of people who use walkers and various, you know, mobility devices to use. And we were also able to ask for stools to be added so that those of us who don't, you know, use a wheelchair or anything, but do need to sit down as much as is fucking possible, we could still sit and be at a height that we could see the stage. And what was great was on the first day, it became apparent they hadn't made that area big enough. Mm-hmm. So by the second day, they'd moved the barrier back and it was larger. Cool. And it was like, they just...
Oh, we've lost Charlie. She's frozen. Oh, I need to screen grab
responded
this.
To the need and gone, we need to do this, and they just did it.
You froze, and I was going to screen grab you because you look like a complete bell end. It's okay, I'm recording this, so...
Cheers, doll. Okay.
I do think it was a
But
bit
yeah,
cruel.
so
The accessible area was basically like, here's accessible area, here's the speakers, sound system stack.
yeah, it was like
Oh,
right there. But I think there's a bit of a debate in kind of accessible gigland as to what the best way of doing it is do you have us in the crowd? Do you let us experience gigs in the same way that everyone else gets to experience it, in the mix, at the front, where we get to see people and look up at our idols in the same way that everyone else is getting to do that? You know, do we get to do that? Or do you put us in a nice little safe area up the back, maybe on a platform,
some bubble wrap.
and kind of put us in like with a little barrier around us, you know, where maybe our partners can't join us or our friends can't come and speak to us. And there was an element of that this weekend, because when I was there, you know, there was only one of my friends I really got to speak to, because they're a disabled person as well, and Jenny, woo, because the accessible area was also the kind of the VIP area. So there was also backstage peeps were also there as well. But you know, I didn't get to hang out with you during the bands because you were.
Yeah, well, that was one of the things
mix.
I went when we went to. You know, we started off just going, you know what, let's hang around by the sound desk, because that's usually where the sound pretty good. It wasn't that far back, and then on I think it wasn't until the Sunday morning really we went, hey, let's just kind of wander a bit forward because we want to see like ratio strain antibody just down at the front. Because I knew Matt was going to be on stage, and I was like, actually, let's just get a bit closer, and we'll just wander over and stand on the other side of the barrier from the accessible area and go, hi, Charlie. So you're on that side.
Yeah, and that really meant a lot, because it's like I was a lot of the time just kind of spending a lot of time in the festival on my own, because I was either, you know, going to the accessible area to sit there on my own, or you know, with other people who I was getting to know, and we got on really well, and it was really nice. And I was getting to spend time with Rona, who is like one of my absolute besties, and that was wonderful. And we were both talking about how great it was to be able to experience this properly. But in venues where they do the platform thing, that experience of isolation is even more. And you know, the challenge of how it was done here is because you also had backstage peeps who were all stood against the wall. It meant that people were leaning over us to talk to the cool people.
Yep. And
it meant that like there were people who literally pushed me like this out of the way to talk to them. And I'm like, that is a little bit of like our little culture, which is we're generally quite good at getting better at learning and changing and accepting and kind of going, okay, cool, I need to do better at that. That's definitely a thing we need to do better at. We don't push each other out of the way to get to someone cool. We don't do that to anyone. Please don't do that to people with disabilities. Like that's just not on at all. And I know that it wasn't done as a malicious act. It was done as a completely didn't even consider it, wasn't even a thing act. Which in of itself is a problem. And I think that was the only slip up of that layout, because that doesn't feel very good. But apart from that, there was, you know, and I know that friends of mine who are wheelchair users found like the seas fucking parted for them, which you don't really get that in other places. And that was a really validating experience for them. People were helping move barriers out of the way. People were helping me by going and getting stools and stuff when there wasn't one available. And people would shimmy over so that I could sit down in the courtyard and stuff. And those little things that feel like manners are genuinely, you are providing access for us. And that is fucking enormous. And it means that like more than I could possibly express, because without those things, I don't get to go and do stuff. So yeah, I'm really fucking grateful for it. When it's done right, it's fucking great.
Yeah. Obviously, still a couple of challenges, but probably one of the more accessible.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's kind of the non kind of planned festival stuff.
Yeah. That
was just another experience that was worth kind of saying that stuff was done well. And I would shake Tanz's hand for that. Whether that was the festival planning or the venue planning, I don't know, but whoever deserves a handshake is fucking getting one.
I think it was quite good. As you say, you know, they shugled the area, made it a bit bigger quite quickly after realizing, oh,
Yeah.
there's more people, or they take up more space because there are maybe more wheelchair users or whatever than we were expecting, and actually being able to slide that along. And also, I thought it was quite cool because you had your own little bar. You had like half the bar was kind of cut for like the accessible area had their own little bar, and you wouldn't have to go to get another drink anywhere else. It was just right there.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of a good point. Ginny says, unfortunately, I think some people don't realise the area is also for access, and I've told people to move as well. Yeah, that's a good point. And I also quite like that inadvertently suggests that all these disabled people were just badass rock stars, and I'm like, I'm so vibing with that. This is like every disabled person that was there. We weren't there because we were disabled. We were there just because we're fucking famous as shit, bitches.
They're hanging out with all the bands that are waiting to go on. Let's face it.
Sorry?
You're also in there hanging out with the bands that are waiting to go on, and just all the hybrid black lot waiting to pile on stage at the end of Morris Black, and they're just kind of in with you guys.
I think we've already established that I'm far too much of a dork to say anything. I actually when Jilly introduced me to Marie of grab your face fame, I definitely played my dork card hard in that scenario. Because they are someone who I significantly respect in many ways.
So I mean, obviously, they weren't directly on the lineup. So when they came on, I was like, grab your face, pretty sure it's grab your face. It's you.
But yeah, I did this whole thing about their coat, and it just, as I was saying it, I was doing that thing. I think I mentioned it to somebody else about hoovering my words up off the floor and going, "No, Charlie, don't say these things. No." And it was too late. All the words were coming out, and I'm just a dork. But that's okay. I'm allowed to be a dork.
Words, all the wrong order.
Yeah. I am that dickhead. But yeah, Shafiq, they were totally responsive, and it was really cool. Like I said, when we came back the next day and they'd made the area bigger, it was like, oh, this is cool. They've acknowledged there's more of us that exist. That's really nice. And that was really cool. And it was a really nice vibe, actually, because I think we were all a little bit, when anyone who has a thing, whether it's a gender thing, a sexuality thing, or a disability thing, you're always really cautious of how you wear your thing. And in the disability world, a lot of the time it's about being called a faker, or some kind of massive, like, lying, awful demon person. And, being seen out and about doing a normal person thing is quite easily one of those ways in which you get called a liar and a faker and all those horrible things, particularly at music events that may involve dancing. And like, fuck, of course we want to dance. I will dance in the ways that our bodies will allow us and that we feel we want to. What was great was, together, we were kind of able to support each other, not necessarily in saying that we were, but just by being there with each other, into doing that in a way that felt good. So by the end of the festival, people were standing up and dancing. People were properly giving it fucking loudy, having a great time, raving their tits off. Because the whole point of our mobility aids is to enable us to do those things.
So there was none of that, if I stand up and dance, I'm going to lose my seat.
Yeah, or if I stand up and dance, is everyone going to turn around and go, heathen? Like, because the whole thing is, just because even if you are a nearly full-time wheelchair user, that does not mean you cannot stand up, walk, and fucking shake your damn tushy. Like, there will be a way in which you can do that feels good for you, feels right for you, and feels expressive for you. And you should not be told not to do that because it's someone else's discomfort about seeing someone stood up next to their wheelchair, or their walker, or whatever their mobility aid is. So having space for us to do those things was really empowering. And I think by the end of the weekend, there was particularly one couple. He had been really, really helpful in helping me with some stuff as well. So he was not just kind of his partner's kind of support buddy, but also for the rest of us as well. He was great. They were like properly raving their tits off together. And we were all like, yes, this is fucking brilliant. This is what these spaces need to be about, is saying that actually this dance floor is for everybody. It's not just for those who can visibly be judged as, more permitted to dance. So yeah, it was a really nice vibe. Yeah, definitely. The Crip Police. Thanks. Yeah, that's a whole thing.
I do think that, as you say, other people's partners were like helping other people as well. Is that when you become more aware of people's issues and challenges that they have, actually, because you start to broaden that out, and you see it more. It's while you're not exposed to that sort of thing, maybe you don't even think about it because it's not a thing in your world. But as soon as it comes into your world and it is a thing, then you actually see it more, and actually you recognize it in other people that aren't your friends, and you can reach out and help them, and
exactly.
Hey, you need a chair because
that's why
you're struggling. Okay,
yeah, that's why dickheads like me are talking about it all the time, because the more people like me talk about it, the more we're like, this is what it looks like. This is what you can say to me, and it's totally okay. You can ask me if I need a thing, or you can ask me if this thing, is a wonk or whatever. That's totally okay. Don't be a prick about it, and that's all right, kind of thing. What you don't get to do is, call me names and all that shit, because you don't get to call anyone fucking names, or you're a fucking cunt, frankly. But the more it's kind of spoken about, the more people do get to learn. They get to have the vocabulary to describe themselves, to describe each other, to know how to help, how not to hinder, or how to just not be that person who pushes us out of the way to speak to the famous people,
Yeah. Which is
totally, and
totally
that's not just the
thinking.
disabled community. That's how we all learn about each other in all different walks of life, because there's walks of life that I know jack shit about and I need to learn more about. So I will listen to those voices to learn more about that as well. And that's just that's how this shit works, man.
So
that's how it rolls.
Any other high points for the festival that are non-musical?
Hanging out with you bellend.
Oh, I was going to say hanging out with you.
Oh, and Shuffling Pufflin delivering me butteries. That was fucking great.
Yes.
Even if I did get really ill.
And have them with ice cream.
Yeah, and have them with ice cream. Fuck that. I didn't have them with ice cream. I had 2 butteries and then I had some ice cream, and it was like legitimately the worst thing I could have fucking done.
You know what you should have done, and we all know this, is buttery ice cream buttery.
Oh my god! You
got 2 left.
No.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
No.
Next time, I'm gonna deliver you some fucking butteries and ice cream. I'm sure they'll deliver.
Maybe okay. So yeah, you have more access to butteries. Maybe that's how you should start the next stream.
Oh, butteries dipped in custard. Oh no. Oh Jesus. Fucking get out.
Oh, hold the fucking phone. TheKynon says butteries dipped in custard.
Yeah.
What the effity Jeff?
None of that. Not my concoction.
Oh my god! I'm mentally conjuring up the sensations of this. I think textures wise, I'd like it, but would I like it flavors wise?
You could just put in a blender.
Blend.
Buttery custard shake. Shake,
Oh my
buttery
God.
shake, buttery custard shake.
Please, someone clip that. Please, someone clip that. Feral, where are you? Feral, we need you. Clip it. Clip it. Oh, okay. So we're getting some questions about what butteries are. So that'll be the English contingent.
Hello down there.
So butteries.
They are a concoction of heart attack, coronary artery disease, and a little tiny dash of Aberdonian alcoholism.
It's like they're like the size. They're the size and thickness of a large burger, of just a patty of a burger. But if you imagine a patty of a burger made out of 12 croissants, smushed together, then mashed up with lard. I don't have them with lard, veggie. I have a veggie version, but they're mashed up with lard, and then usually toasted. So they're then made hot, and then even though they already have butter and lard in them, you then put more spread on them, usually butter or jam or cheese, and then you have a heart attack and you die.
Last time we were
Welcome
down
to
at
Scotland.
the 28 group, I think I put a massive kind of brie on top of mine.
Yeah, we had a butteries and cheese fest. That was actually during the Just Chatting stream at the bunker, and that made me ill as well.
Worth it?
Yeah, Stitch. So it's good that you're going to walk to Scotland, because you're going to need the walk to preemptively work off the 17,000 calories it takes just looking at a buttery.
Because what the Stitch can do is, when they come up here, they can walk 500 miles.
And walk 500 more.
And then walk 500 more all the way back.
Oh, Farrell, I've just seen you clipped it, you fucking babe. Oh, shake, buttery custard shake. Oh my God, that is immense. Oh, Jesus Christ. We talk a lot of bollocks, don't we?
Yeah.
See, this is the problem, right? So yeah, you get like Friday nights. There's some nice music. There's this guy just playing some music. He can't be too much of a dickhead, can he? This person who hangs out in chat all the time and tells us not to be funny. She can't be too much of a dickhead, can she? That face is now called TheKynon, by the way.
I'll get you back, which will mean nothing to most of the young people in the room. What else? What on my
Best bollocks.
That's not Twitch safe.
Did you write an agenda?
I did have a small thing, but like top moments, merch, coffee, food, location, grab your face, antibody, that sort of stuff. Wasn't really particularly. It was just like stuff we're going to cover anyway. But so that's kind of Resistanz over and done with for a year.
It is, yeah.
What's next on the Goth agenda? I heard something about Sisters of Mercy touring. Who's going to pay money to see them?
Yeah, I want to see how much the tickets are for that, because I bet that's going to be big lad bucks. I can't imagine that being.
I saw they're on a festival lineup with Sister Mercy headline, and then the next on the list is VNV Nation.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Which it kind of struck me, because I was always, I'm at that point in my life where I've seen Sisters enough times on their own that I would never pay to see them specifically anymore. I want to see them as part of another event, because I don't know, he keeps saying he's got like 60 unreleased tracks or something, you have to make some more albums. It's like, well, if I can release some of these things and people might actually come and see you. I just feel like it's more a pension fund thing, where bands that kind of come out of retirement just to kind of top up. Is it like Hello Susie? Not been around for a while, got a bit of a cult following. They're all Sisters. I mean, absolutely complete classic band, right? But just seeing them live, it's not the same, not anymore.
Jilly's just said about Sisters tributes being better, and that just reminds me of the Sisters of Murphy.
Sisters of Murphy, yep, absolutely. They were fantastic band.
Immense.
And also wholesome.
And like, yeah, that whole wholesome factor we were talking about earlier on. Yeah.
Yeah. Are there any other Sisters tribute bands?
That's me coming up empty. Sorry.
Yep, no idea.
What? Yeah, I did do a really, 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 really bad mashup when I first got. I think it was Virtual DJ, and I didn't have any controllers or anything. And I did a mashup of Temple of. I can't remember what I decided to call it in the end, but it was like a really filthy. I think it was a DJ Fresh, like breaks track with Temple of Doom. I need to go back and revisit that because it has potential to not be as bad as what I made it. Frankly, I think it has wings. Oh yeah, Jilly's playing Church Madness. That lovely little club that me and that dickhead that's also on your screen played at last year. Church Madness, which is run by the lovely DJ and Transmission, who I believe is also in chat. So Jilly's playing there on the 2nd of June. Fuckos, go do that thing.
There we go. That's it.
Because she's really bad at retiring from DJing. Really, really bad at retiring from DJing. Really bad at it. Just shit. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, Jilly. It's nice to see you here.
Always nice when people pop up.
Yours?
Yeah. Do you have anything else on your list? Or are there any more things like System Mercy touring or so New Model Army touring? Well, that's not one. Yeah. Quite keen on them. Go and see them actually.
Nice. Nice. Oh, you've Adam, you've just reminded me, Vic and Bob. So one of the little gems, did I leave it out? Leave it out. That I discovered when I was back at my mum's recently. I have the Shooting Stars game, right? Which is a book and it comes with a CD, right? Which includes, I think it's something like 45 tracks
in the pop singer
in a club style.
Where is this on a Sunday?
I need to rip them, and I think we might have to play a game of guess the in a club style track.
Yes.
Harking back to days of Shooting Stars for those who are watching. And the dove from above. Yeah. On that note, I think it's time for me to go for a wee. So I'm gonna love you, fuckos, and leave you.
I think it's time to wrap up anyway. It's getting to. I think we're about to go into just speaking utter bollocks territory. I have my bullshit.
We're
sense is
very good at doing.
Yes.
Thank you all for sticking with us through this wonky wonderland. Through Tanz at the weekend. Thanks to everyone who came and said hello, whether you're already people we know, whether you're delightful weirdos that we got to meet for the first time, whether you're bands who put up with me interrupting your noodling, and yeah, it's just fucking great. So yeah, it's been a real privilege, and yeah, thank you.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm going to chuck this up on YouTube, I think, because I did remember to record it. Accidentally remembered. So we did that last couple
on
of times,
the internet.
So yeah.
And thanks for getting that clip, Ferrell.
Yes, thank you. Ferrell did mention a little bit further back that I need to scroll something about if we're going to hear about any of the plotting that we did at the weekend, and the answer is no, because I haven't worked out what the final shape of it is going to be yet. And you know what I'm like, it'll be a last minute fucking pilot shite. Well, not pilot shite, it'll be carefully constructed pilot shite. But it will be very last minute, so I'm not going to give anything away, but it may be awesome or it may be absolutely terrible and soul destroying.
Mostly soul destroying, these things always are.
Always are, yeah. Cool, right.
You're that much of a dickhead.
I'm going to go to a feedy thing.
Ta-ra, fuckos.
And we'll go, let me what are we doing?
You get this one for free.
How does Twitch even work? Right. Good night, everyone. Wrong. I'll use the other mouse, the one that controls the other PC. Right.
Yeah, do that thing.